start discussion. Okay. So up to 15, huh? So question number 3. Let's go for the answer of this question. So what has been pointed here? The answer is D, right? Question number 3. And question number 4. C. Question number 5. B. Okay. So these 3 questions which I gave you earlier. In question number 3, you have any doubt? Okay. So what has been pointed here? Kerala Minister for Local Administration wanted the Prime Minister's intervention to restrain a Union Minister from making statement with consider to checking the stray dog menace of trading, which has claimed 4 lives in the state. The local administration minister made the statement in the assembly while referring to the union ministers that the Kerala Anti-Social Activist Prevention Act should be imposed on those who cull street dogs to protect people from their attacks, cutting across party lines. Members expressed strong reservation over the union minister's frequent intervention and remarks in connection with the measures to check the stray dog menace. They also alleged that she had virtually put obstacles in the state's anti-stray dog mission. Now the whole text is all about nothing but the Kerala ministers, right? So who wanted the Prime Minister's intervention on the matter of what? Street dogs menace, right? So what is the question? Which of the following, if true, most weaken the Union Minister's defense of street dogs in the passage alone? Right? If I talk about that, we need to weaken the argument of Union Minister's defense of street dogs. Right? Now, on the basis of that, if we look into the 4 of the option, the first option said the problem of unwanted excessive dogs, irresponsible dog ownership and rabies is not unique to India. Right? That it's it's an irrelevant one. Right? Option B, control and prevention of rabies requires annual vaccination of at least 80% of the total dog population to stop the spread of the disease from dogs to dogs and dogs to humans. Again, it tells about the rabies, right? The disease.
So this can be the statement from the Union Ministry.
Yes. So this could be supporting to it, right? But cannot be called as a weekend. But if we look into the option C and D, C said local authorities spent taxpayer money on maintaining dog bans and pounds and manpower, right or not? Now here you are talking about that the money is spent on these street dogs, right? This could yes, for their maintenance, isn't it? Now in that case, this could be called as a kind of a weakening, right or not? Yes, we agree to this. But is it called as a most appropriate or more appropriate in compared to option G?
So the only reason I put C is because in C they are saying they are spending taxpayer money on maintaining dog bans and pounds and manpower. That means instead of culling the rabid dogs, if we take care of them, it is costing money to the taxpayer. That is the point. In D, citizens, especially the poor, continue to face dog attacks in public and children being attacked regularly. Dog attacks. This point has already been made in the first line itself from making statements with regard to checking the stray dog menace, which has claimed 4 lives. The only reason I put C is because if the Union Minister it has already claimed 4 lives, still the Union Minister is arguing in support of the dogs. Then this point, to counter his point, is not correct.
Okay. Now, if you have thought about that, then you must have found that option D is quite similar to the argument the argument is stated that what? The street dogs menace. Right? The argument is street dogs menace. Despite the street dogs menace, how come the union minister depends on defense of street dogs in the passages? Isn't it? So, if you are talking about the spending taxpayers' money, it's okay. No issue. We understand that the economic part. But what about that the life threatening? What about that life threatening? Right? So, if it takes 4 lives, right? You have already made a statement. You have taken these street dogs have taken 4 lives. Now, if you make the another point to it that they have taken 4 lives, it cannot be considered that okay. But what if if they are nothing but the threatening to the poor, if they are the threatening to the children, is it considered that the less less weakening to that the option C? No. Because option C is only talking about the economic perspective. Option D is talking about the life threatening. Isn't it? Now this could be called as a more strengthening part, right, when you are weakening to the authors or called as a union minister's argument. Isn't it? Hence we can go for the option D as the answer. Okay? Okay. Do you have doubts in on question number 4?
So B and C only I was confused.
Yes.
I chose B because argued for employment, and C seemed like.
Okay, let me point out what does the argument in this particular text. The text says states about what? Then states about the parrot, right? So right in the heart of Mumbai lies parrot, right? And on this particular area, what happened? 100 acres occupied by textile mills, and this land strip has been a bone of contention, right? And this area or this land has been a bone of contention among whom? That called the mill workers, you talk about mill owners, and you talk about the city planners, right or not? These are the people, despite a variety of recommendations made by several committees to develop the area, still it is nothing but a bone of contention, isn't it? Now, and this has not yet solved. Now, the new committee has formed, and the new committee, which is made of what? HDFC chairperson and also Charles Correa, the famous architect and city planner. But their also result is what? No use. Their result is also, or their outcome is also no use. Now, what do we draw? Now, the author draws that the issue has not even solved because it is a bone of contention among these people. Right? So the author has taken this issue's region is what? That called as it is a bone of contention among these people. But what if we draw another region that will weaken to the author's argument and stated that no, it's not the bone of contention among these people, it is something else. Right? That makes the author's argument weaken. Yes or no? So, if I go to the option B and option C, C stated the falling real estate prices in Mumbai have inhibited action from being taken on the development of the mill landscape. It indicates that obviously the real estate price has fallen down, right? So that's why no one has shown the interest to, go for it, isn't it? It's not about that the bone contention issue. Right? But option B stated the government is keen on setting up high-tech industrial units. If the government is keen on setting up high-tech industrial units, that is the reason the committee is formed, no? Why it has not come out with a kind of a result or outcome? Yes or no? We have not drawn what the answer in option B. We have simply found out what is the provision of making committee? What is the prospect of making committee? right? But we have not weakened the author's argument. We have simply given the reason why the committee is formed. Yes or no? Got my point? Option A and D cannot be. A is recycling of land, irrelevant, and B is irrelevant. Because parallel and Mumbai, we are talking about parallel, not about Mumbai, right? So therefore, option A and D are irrelevant. Question number 5, is it C, B? B? Okay. Good. Question number 6,
C.
D.
Sorry, D.
D, Delhi, right? So, question number 7, will it be C?
C.
Yes. Question number 8, yes.
C and D are a little similar because those who are freelancers, by definition, they have job.
Now, understand the argument. What has been pointed here? Hollywood studios recruit a phrase creativity, isn't it? Now, this is called a very strong line. So, you are specifying only about Hollywood industries, right? Second is called that they are hiring who means a fresh creativity, right? No experience, right? Fresh creativity for each film, isn't it? So leading its member to work intensively together with minimum interference, stepping in only when things are clearly going wrong. So when they do any kind of wrong, so then only they help them, right? Otherwise, those people do very hard work, right? After that, you are saying this gives team member a feeling of control and pride in their project. So those people who work, right? So they feel like they're doing good or better. And to cap it all, everyone has his or her contribution duly except in the closing credit. Such teamwork is rare in other businesses, right? So people work hard and collaborate well in the movie business because they have no job stability. Now you have already pointed that what they have no job stability, isn't it? It seems like what job insecurity can lead to a greater productivity, which is an assumption. The assumption is what? Why? Means they do all such kind of a thing because they have no job security. It means job insecurity can lead to a greater productivity. But did you support the argument? The argument is what? Why we talk about these new people, right? Why these new people means who have been hired by the Hollywood studios, right? Do such kind of a thing, right? So you have given the reason behind it called as they have no job security, right? And option D, job security can lead to a greater difficulty. It's again called as the same thing you are repeating. But if I go to the option C, option C stated that the first thing is there the freelancer, right? Second thing is called as if they do not do well, so they will not go for the another project in future. Right? Because you have already pointed that they have a job insecurity. आपने पहले ही बता दिया ना उनका जॉब इनसिक्योरिटी है, तो यही तो रीजन है जिसके वजह से वो क्या कर रहे हैं, अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, so that इनको फ्यूचर में means और भी काम मिले, right or not? So option C becomes the stronger one, right? Option D is the premises which is already given in the paragraph, right? So and repeated in the support, analytical one, right? Why they are working, so and what is the reason of doing such kind of a hard work, right? So all these things are mentioned. And we took irrelevant. So question number 8, D, option D, tell me. So obviously we are talking about the cigarettes. If they come in a packet of 10 to 20, then it becomes difficult for the children to make experimentation. Question number 9. It's A. Now observe that the keyword XAT is given, isn't it? XAT is given. So understand the question for in a better manner so that you reach to the answer. It's a D, Delhi. Don't you think? Let me point out. यहाँ पे पूछा क्या गया है? Many Japanese women do not feel they need a high status job to enjoy high status. So the first line stated that women do not need job to enjoy high status or high status job to enjoy high status. Isn't it? A well-educated woman working part-time in a supermarket will not see that job as defining her identity if she is the wife of a high-ranking Mitsubishi Corporation executive. It gives us the overall idea that women do work, right, in this passage. Women do work not for identity, not for necessity, but for what? Means, spending leisure time. Isn't it? Spending leisure time. Now, on the basis of that, हमें करना क्या है? Now, we need to find out one of the option, right, which will strengthen the point, right? Because it is stated all of the following cases, if true, serves to weaken the argument. Serves to weaken the argument means what? The argument is what? Means women work in the company not for necessity but for what? But for leisure time. Right or not? Except. So the meaning of except is what? You will find out all the options will tell that means women work not for means a necessity but for what do we say that? Leisure. So we need to find out that answer. Right? क्योंकि weekend है करना है ना. ठीक है? Now option A, B, C are stating what? Now women are doing the job because it's a necessity. Main statement stated what? They are doing it for the leisure. Right? Now they are beginning. One A, B, C, isn't it? A stated that stagnating wages mean the 3 meal, it is a necessity, right? And the NAP way of life is less widely available for increasingly in need of 2 incomes. So husband and wife, they both need to work in the company for, living a high status or called as a necessity, isn't it? So A is nothing but weakening to the main statement. B, more Japanese women are opting out of marriages to overworked and largely absent salaryman and therefore increasingly fending for themselves. So if the man is not working, so women need to work, and sometimes also you would find out opting out of marriages means making the woman compulsory to do the job, isn't it? So in that case also A and B both are indicating necessity and living a high status. Right. See, some Japanese women who are career oriented and are desirous of a high status prefer to remain single. So if they are single and want to live a high status life, they need to do the job, isn't it? Now A, B, C are nothing but doing what? Means weakening to the author's argument, whereas only option D is stated that women do the job, right? Or in the workplace, so-called office ladies. Now you find out the term which is used here is nothing but a sarcasm. So-called office ladies wield a lot of influence over the lives of salaryman, quietly hindering the careers of those they dislike. It means they sit in the office and simply make a kind of a eavesdropping against the millions of people, isn't it? Or make the rumor, isn't it? And spending the time as a leisure. Yes or no? So in that case, option D is supporting to the author's argument given in the main statement, isn't it? So hence we can choose option D would be the correct one. Right. Question number 10. No, it's a D. Right. I'll come to that. Question number 11. B. It should be D. Yeah. 12. Good. D. If you have a doubt, we will discuss that. Right? Don't worry. I'll discuss all the questions. Question number 13. Okay. C. So 14.
14 D.
Good. D. 15.
Either A or C.
Neither.
Either A or C.
Either A or C. Yours? Anyone else? we will have a discussion onto it. I'll start from the 15. So, if you observe that what has been stated in our question number 15, a study found that pregnant women who have been exposed to phthalates, right? So gave birth to children with extremely low IQs, therefore running their lives permanently. Right? Ruining their lives permanently. So what happened? You can draw that phthalates can deteriorate the IQ level of the children, right? So and that's what is something called as destroying their life permanently, isn't it? Now, phthalates is a harmful ingredient used in plastic products for making them softer. In these circumstances, it is advisable that plastic bottles, spoons, microwaves, utensils and sprays are avoided by those expecting a child. It means it is a very specific statement, right, that means a plastic should not be used because it contains phthalates, and phthalates can make the IQ level deteriorate among the newborn babies, isn't it? So that's why when pregnant women should prohibit phthalates or plastic bottle. Right? That is what the author's argument. So which of the following, if true, undermines? Undermines means weakens. Weakens what? Weakens the author's argument. How you can weaken to the author's argument? Let's say that if you go with a D, right? Experts are pressing for increased awareness about the adverse impact of plastic among expectant mothers. Now here you are strengthening to the author's argument. That author is stated means phthalate is harmful, right? And phthalate contains in a plastic, so means expectant mothers should not use this. So D is strengthening, cannot be called as a weakening. So D is eliminated. C. Pregnant women exposed to bacterial, viral, harmful rays also had gone on to have children with physical, mental and learning disability. Again, you are supporting to the argument by stating that what not only phthalates but also other things also means harmful to the babies, and that's something called as a mother, right, expecting a child. So B, plastics. Now B and A, these two options. B, plastics form an integral part of life. In that case, you cannot avoid plastic. Isn't it? That is what you are saying. But what you are mentioning here, plastics form an integral part of life. Now it's a general content. And general content to show that what means it is highly necessary. But in that case, it doesn't say any kind of a way, right, through which we can say means the mother, expectant mother will means not face or face. If face, it is a strengthening. Not face, then it is a weakening. Again, it is not relating to the topic, main theme. The main theme is what is expectant mother facing the problem because of the plastic bottles. Right? Now we need the kind of argument against it, right, must be a specific one. Now look into the option A. Option A stated children with poor IQ were trained to become intelligent when they were provided with a positive environment at home, are taught to articulate well. Now this goes against the kind of a statement like if you say that expectant mothers means expectant mothers should stay away from the plastic bottle. That doesn't mean plastic should be bad, right? We need to find out the other way to weaken that, isn't it? So in that case, means we can say the child can be nurtured well, articulated well, so that his IQ level or her IQ level will be developed, isn't it? But that doesn't mean plastic will be banned, right? So by stating only plastic is an integral part of life, you cannot also ignore the fact of what expectant mothers may do, isn't it? So that's also called as one of the reasons why B cannot be taken. Got my point? So answer option A would be the correct. Okay. The next question. What is that next question? Yeah, doubt in 14 number question?
No.
Okay. 13?
Uh,
Please do ask like 14 में आपका? नहीं, आपका? नहीं. Okay. 13?
13, why not option A?
Why not option A? Very good. Let's see that. Never go shopping when you are hungry. It is asking about binge shopping. Isn't it? Binge shopping. So what is that binge shopping? Now this is one of the biggest reasons for binge shopping. It indicates that when you are hungry, right, you means buy a lot, right, and you eat a lot. Isn't it? That is what known as a binge shopping. So that is what it tries to define in the statement. This is one of the biggest reasons for binge shopping. Hungry shoppers tend to shop more than necessary. Worse, they tend to shop for foods high in calories. Right. Now, if I look into the question, which of the following is true most strongly supports the above argument? It means yes, in binge shopping, what happened? People eat a lot and they forget that what they are eating. Right, and they means tend to shop for foods high in calories. Let's take the example of real life. When you are skipping lunch, when you skip lunch, so at the same time means after that whatever you eat, or you maybe eat your food in night time. So you see that you generally eat more than what you usually, isn't it? So you eat now. So in that case, and whatever you find out also you eat that. Got my point? So in that case, what we find out option A, little bites that are placed near the cash counter are always high calorie snacks like chocolates and chips that are kept there to test your ability for impulsive picks. It's genuine, right? But that doesn't refer that you are binge shopping, that's why you are taking the test of it. Right? Isn't it? Means anytime in the morning time also when you go to the shop, then you also take one of the chocolate, or in evening or maybe in afternoon, anytime you go. But it doesn't say that you are skipping, that's why you are taking a little bite. Little bite. And it is also stated little bite you are taking. Right? So we said, but anyhow you can take it that it is a kind of a supportive one. Supportive one. It cannot be ignored. Right. So we said many products that, am I clear with the option A? We said many products that are termed low fat are pumped with the sugar and salt to make up for the test factor. So it is again irrelevant context, because you are talking about test, not talking about hungry. Right? Test factor and hungry factor both are different, no? So C said those who shop after lunch, which is clearly stated, those who shop after lunch buy lesser high calorie, because you have taken food, right? After that when you go for buying certain things, so you purchase the things which is called as a lesser high calorie foods than those who shop between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Because after lunch you buy, and time 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. you buy, definitely there is a time difference, right? And you also, your food is also digested, you go for more, right or not? Which is means a big hunger time for most, and that's why they buy more calorie, isn't it? So option C is a purely analyzing one and stating that what binge shopping is, and giving an example to it. So therefore it could be a kind of a supporting argument, right? So D, taking kids along for shopping forces, one to shop for snacks that are high in sugar and fat, which are strategically placed on the lower shelves in the supermarket and are easily accessible to children. Again, it is stating about the children, right? So who generally buy things in supermarket when they go for. But it doesn't talk about that these children are suffering from binge shopping or are in a hungry, that's why they are buying. Right. Okay, question number 12. Any doubt in this?
I actually created the second part. That's why I got it.
So, fine. Question number 11.
Okay, doubt.
So 11 में किसी का yours. So what does 11 say? Money buys happiness, right? Which is a kind of a strong statement. Money buys happiness, and the richer you are, the more likely you are to express satisfaction with your life, isn't it? So the whole theme of the statement is called as a money buys happiness. Means money can give you satisfaction, isn't it? Now, which of the following, if you put most, we can most, right? Most, and we need to go for the counter argument. So in that case, rich country, कौन सा आंसर आपका था? A. Rich countries do not experience steep declines in happiness, right? Now, rich countries do not experience steep decline in happiness. That means they are rich. That's why they are happy. So it means it supports that it weekend. Then how could we go for? Because you are rich. So there is no deterioration in your happiness. There is no degradation in your happiness. You always live happy. Right? So A is called as strengthening, but our question is called as a weekend. So we need to point out, no, money cannot bring you happiness or satisfaction, right, all the time. So we said the link between income and satisfaction has been snapped. Now you simply do not try to make a connection between money with the happiness. So then it cannot be called as a relevant, right, relevant to the argument, isn't it? Because our relevant would be what? Our statement when it says that money cannot bring you happiness, right? But once you are stating that money and happiness में कोई difference ही नहीं, कोई relation ही नहीं है, तो आप तो argument में आए ही नहीं, isn't it? So option C, satisfaction with the living standard, right? हाँ, अगर यहाँ पे except दिया होता ना, then you chose the option, right? But यहाँ पे पूछा गया weakening, इसका मतलब हमें relation बनाना है, right? So C, satisfaction with living standards has the biggest influence on happiness, right? Satisfaction with living standards has the biggest influence on happiness. Means happiness and satisfaction के बारे में दिया है, but doesn't talk about whether money means brings or doesn't bring, right or not? हाँ, so satisfaction with living standards. But whether you are talking about living standards means what? What do you mean by living standard? That's certain part of the poor people, right? So they are living with whatever they have. They satisfy with it, isn't it? So if satisfaction is relating to the happiness, so poor people, whatever they have, right? So they become satisfied with it and they become happy with it.
So the answer to this is what? D, right?
D, yeah, I'm talking about that D. So, but as you made the point, so option C is also stating about a kind of a statement that poor people have, whatever they have, they are satisfied with it, and that's why they are happy. So satisfaction and happiness linked to each other, right? But D said what? People in developing countries express the same level of satisfaction as people in rich countries. So developing and rich, what is the difference? You are talking about the money difference, isn't it? So if you are saying that money brings you happiness, then rich people should have more happy or happier than the developing countries, no? Right or not? Then if both are enjoying the same kind of a happiness, same kind of a satisfaction, then it shows that money is not the reason, something else is the reason. Isn't it? Got my point? Now this could weaken the argument. Hope you are clear? समझ में आया? A, B, C क्यों eliminate किया गया? D क्यों आंसर है? Okay. Question number 10. Yes, you asked about this.
I put in D, but only because sorry, no, the answer was D. I was in between A and C. Because they have said in the last line, with English becoming the global language of commerce and communication, greater stress should be laid on the way the language is taught rather than on creating meaningless controversies. Means the way Hindi was tried to imposed in 1960s, it created a controversy. the way Hindi was imposed in 1960s, it created a controversy. So they are saying stress should be laid on the way the language, English language is taught, rather than on creating meaningless controversies. It is not as if people will need to give up their language. So C can be the option to recognize there is recognition.
You need a common global language.
You need a common global language. That is that answer. And A maybe because it offers a solution to the anxiety of country should offer a solution to the anxiety of people born out of being able to speak English fluently. I thought C is a better option.
Okay, C is the repetition. Okay, let me point out the question begins or the statement begins with what? A kind of a controversy, right? When in the mid of 1960s an attempt to impose Hindi was made and Tamil Nadu went up in flames, right? So we require to have learnt our lessons, right? Because the kind of a situation of it. So national integration in our democracy is a voluntary process, right? There should be no attempt at coercion. You shall not force certain things to the people. With English becoming the global language of commerce and communication, which is given, right, like she pointed. But I'll give you another opinion on this. Greater stress should be laid on the way the language is taught rather than on creating meaningless controversies. Right. Now this part is very important. Stress should be laid on the way the language is taught. Right. So why the stress should be laid on the way the language is taught? Because there is no contradiction between learning a language and knowing your vernacular language. You have your mother tongue, right? But if you are learning English, learning Hindi, right, there is no wrong into it, isn't it? So option C is indicating as a kind of a support to the argument that what greater stress should be laid on the way the language is taught rather than on creating meaningless controversy, right? If I go to the option C, when you say that there is a recognition today of the fact that you need a common global language, now you are entering the debate again. You are entering the debate because Hindi was made as a common and Tamil Nadu did not accept that and did a what? A kind of a balance. So if today you are saying that we need a common global language, again you are entering the kind of a balance or a kind of a debate. Agree? Right? So that's the reason we consider that C is creating a kind of a debate. But D is stating a kind of a solution that what means you need to learn the language. Right? Your mother tongue language is with you all the time. So Tamil Nadu understand that the Hindi need to be learned, right? And there is no wrong learn to language, right? You may not communicate with that language, but you need to learn that. What is wrong in it? Let's say that people go to Japan or to China, they need to learn the language of it before they go to that particular place. Anyway, so that. So A में क्या दिया? The country should offer a solution to the anxiety of people burnout of not being able to speak English fluently. Very specific, right? You are talking about in English, very specific. And second is called you are asking about the solution, right? You are not giving any solution, isn't it? Okay. Question number 9. Doubt? 9 में किसी का doubt है? Yes. हाँ? Okay. 9. Okay, 8. Okay, और कुछ है? How much time do we have left? Done. 9 हो गया. Okay, so more 10 questions are there, 16 to 25. Please try to do them. I thought like what I would give you all the questions, 25 questions to do, and then after we will go for the discussion. But again, I thought like you need to understand the basic things and then. Okay, fine. I hope you understood everything here. Please do the other 10 questions, and if you find out doubts, ask me, huh?